Have you ever had that feeling where you're just kind of going through the motions? You're busy, for sure, but you don't really have a clear direction. Well, today we're going to dive into Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. It is an incredible guide for anyone who's ready to go from feeling lost to being in the driver's seat of their own life.
Yeah, this feeling, it's so common, isn't it? It's like being adrift. You're just floating. And that's when all the anxiety and the what-ifs about the future start to creep in. You know what you don't want, but figuring out what you do want and how to get there, that's the hard part. This book is basically a compass for that journey.
So Napoleon Hill actually gives a name to this state of aimlessness. He calls it the habit of drifting. And it's not just a bad mood that passes. He describes it as this really powerful, passive force that literally stops us from taking charge and creating the life we want.
So what exactly is a drifter?
Well, according to Hill, a drifter is basically a passenger in their own life. They get tossed around by what other people think, by whatever circumstances they happen to be in. The key thing here is that they've lost the power to use their own mind to decide where they're going and to stick to that plan.
Now this is where the book gets really interesting and kind of weird. Hill sets the whole thing up as an interview, a conversation with the devil. And to be clear, he's not talking about a religious figure with horns and a pitchfork. It's a metaphor for all those negative, self-sabotaging habits and thoughts that he claims control, get this, 98% of people.
Okay, so how does this metaphorical devil keep such a tight grip on so many of us? Well, Hill says it's through a very specific set of tools. He identifies 6 main fears that are used like weapons to keep us paralyzed, to keep us stuck in that habit of drifting.
And here's a question to really think about for a second. Can you remember a time when you hesitated on something, or you procrastinated, you made an excuse not to do something you knew you should? Hill argues that if you dig deep enough, you'll almost always find one of these fears hiding underneath it all.
And here they are, the 6 major fears. The fear of poverty, of criticism, of bad health, of losing love, of getting old, and of death. Think about it. When we let these fears take over, we can come up with any reason in the world not to pursue our goals. The fear of what other people might think? Man, that one is a classic dream killer for sure. Okay, so that's the problem. But the great thing about this book is that it doesn't just leave you there. It's really all about the solution. So now let's talk about the powerful opposite of a drifter, the non-drifter.
And just look at the difference here, side by side. It's night and day, right?
On the left, you've got the drifter. Just a passenger, totally influenced by everything outside of them and really going nowhere. But on the right, that's the non-drifter. This is someone who has a definite purpose. They know exactly what they want, and they become an inspiration because they use their own mind to get it.
So you might be thinking, okay, if drifting is just a bunch of bad habits, why is it so darn hard to break free? How do these patterns get so locked in that we just do them automatically, without even thinking about it? Well, the book has a very specific answer for that.
It all comes down to something Hill calls the law of hypnotic rhythm. Basically, this is a natural law that works to make our most dominant habits and thoughts permanent by locking them into our subconscious. Now, if your main thoughts are negative, this law works against you, making drifting your default setting. But the reverse is also true. You can make it work for you.
And that brings us to the really practical part of this whole thing. If you want to get that law of hypnotic rhythm working in your favor, Hill gives us a toolkit, a set of 7 clear principles to break free and become a non-drifter for good.
So here are the keys to the kingdom. Number 1, have a definite purpose. Know your why. 2, master yourself through discipline. 3, see every failure, every bit of adversity as a lesson. 4, take control of your environment and who you hang out with. 5, understand that good things take time. 6, find harmony by always putting your purpose first. And number 7, be cautious, think before you act. And when you follow those principles, it leads you to what might be the single biggest insight in the entire book. It completely flips the script on what most of us think we need to be successful. It's not about waiting for some bolt of lightning to strike. And here it is. This is the crucial takeaway. Motivation, that's just a feeling. It's awesome when it's there, but it comes and goes. Discipline, that's the engine. That is the conscious choice, day in and day out, to say yes to what moves you forward and no to what holds you back. Discipline is what actually breaks the old habits and builds the new reality.
Let's end with this powerful quote from Napoleon Hill himself, because it really sums it all up. This is a final reminder that the whole battle is won or lost right between your ears. The thoughts you allow to dominate your mind, well, eventually show up in your life.
So the real question the book leaves us with is this: what thoughts are you choosing to put on repeat?